Yes, today on Crazy Insane Weight Loss, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting. Now, what is intermittent fasting? Well, we know what fasting is. Fasting is to go without food for a period of time, as long as you want to go. But the idea is to go without food. That's fasting. Intermittent. Now, let's look at what the Webster says about intermittent, the Webster Dictionary. It says not continuous, coming and going. Occasional. It uses the word periodic, continual, on and off. In other words, fasting that you're not doing continually, of course, because if you continue to fast without food, eventually you would die. However, if you were intermittent fasting, that means you would fast on and off for a periodic time, which is fine. And so a person on YouTube here, Mr. Blake Horton, he talks about this intermittent fasting, and he says this is the way he lost weight. He consumes all his daily nutrients in an 8-hour or less window. And he fasts, or he doesn't eat for 16 hours or more. He says this will allow you to lose weight whether you work out or not. That's very interesting. So he has proven that from what he has done with his own personal research. And not only that, but his own experience. He has experienced that. And so that's something to take in consideration. And when you look at his channel, you look there at his YouTube channel, Mr. Blake Horton, you'll see that he's pretty fit. You also will see that he consumes about 4,000 calories. Now, I thought he was saying 5,000 at first, but anyway, it's in between 4,000 to 5,000 calories he consumes a day in one meal. Now, that's an awful lot of calories, but his metabolism is high so that now he's not just consuming that many calories, but he's also burning that many calories. And so his metabolism has sped up. Now, how did he do this? In other words, how can we fix a broken metabolism that is so slow that every time we eat, we're gaining the weight? Well, like Mr. Blake Horton said, intermittent fasting. If you're fasting and you're not doing it all the time, but you're doing it for a certain period of time, like he eats one meal a day and he eats an awful lot, so he's not hungry ever again for the next 23 hours, he fasts, then he's able to speed his metabolism up. He's able to rev it up. You see, the more fuel you give your body, the more it revs up because it knows it has to burn this fuel. The less fuel you give your body, then your body slows down because it says, I have to make this fuel work. So since I'm not getting much fuel, I better slow down. Slows the metabolism down. We see this on a daily basis. We have an example. It's a show that comes on called My 600-Pound Life. Now, in that show, this is when they get gastric bypass surgery. Now, during the time before they get the gastric bypass surgery, they have a doctor that comes on. His name is Dr. Now, is what we know him as. We can't pronounce that whole last name, so everyone calls him Dr. Now. And he was talking to one patient on that show, and he says that this one patient, he says, you haven't lost any weight since the last time I saw you or since your last visit. And the patient says to him, well, I've been following the diet restrictions you gave me. I even walked the whole department store on a regular basis, and I don't understand why I'm not losing the weight. Well, Dr. Now, he comes back and he replies, he says, you're still eating too many calories. He says, then Dr. Now goes on to say, if a patient doesn't want to change, they will convince themselves that they are following the prescribed diet. Most of these patients are pathological eaters, and they lie to you. Most of these patients are in denial, having mental and emotional problems. Well, the truth, that may be true. Maybe they have the mental, maybe they have the emotional problems, but I don't think they all are lying to you. You see, what's happening is their metabolism has slowed down because of their restricted calorie intake. You see, they don't consume many calories, so therefore their metabolism has slowed down. And so after a period of time, they will start gaining weight again. And so this has been a problem, not just with that show, but there's another show that comes on TV called The Biggest Loser. And in that show, it's so interesting that those contestants, for about 6 months, they're losing weight like crazy and they look great. But after those 6 months to a year is up, here comes the weight back, and it comes back with a vengeance. And people wonder, well, why? What happened? Well, the same thing happened. They slowed their metabolism down by lowering their calorie intake. And so therefore, after a while, the body gets used to it. Then when they eat a regular meal again, then the body holds on and stores it as fat because the metabolism has slowed down. So this whole idea to reduce calories, increase exercise, eat less, move more, is not really the best diet, even though it was considered to be the best diet according to the U.S. News and World Reports. But we see time and time again, it has proven to be wrong. And see, some of these contestants from the 600-pound life and this Biggest Loser, I wish they could email me and let me know how they're doing. I would like for them to try some of these techniques that I'm talking about here and let me know of their progress. I guarantee you they can lose the weight and keep it off. It's not just about losing weight, but it's about keeping it off. And it's about having a system that truly works based on what you know about science, based on proven actual facts. Fasting does work. It's been working for years and it's still working. So intermittent fasting is the way to go. If you look at the advantages that come from this intermittent fasting, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's convenient. It's very simple. It's flexible. You can add it to any diet, whether the person is vegan or whether a person is a vegetarian or if they're on keto. They're doing this keto diet. It gives you freedom from obesity, which obesity brings many different diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, et cetera, et cetera. We want to be free from all of that. And we can fix a broken metabolism, and we can speed up and rev up our metabolism by eating a nice full meal. And eating that full meal one time a day or alternate days. One day on, one day off. One day we don't eat anything. Next day we eat something. The point is we can speed up our metabolism. And also, before we finish, YouTubers, I want to you guys to consider a product that I use for water fasting. And it's a product of capsules that you use, that you take. And it's full of potassium and other ingredients that help you get really good hydration from the water. So that it gets in your system really well. And it gives you your electrolytes back so that you won't pass out when you're doing this water fast from headaches and all the other things that come along with fasting. But it helps you fast a little longer, and it actually gives you really good results. So please check out my product. I'm going to post a link at the bottom of the page there for this product. And again, I thank you, YouTubers. So continue intermittent fasting, because this is crazy, insane weight loss.